Hey, what's good, everybody? So this one's gonna be about the snake. The snake is, I'm gonna talk more about. I think there's some people that go really in depth about the meanings. I'm just gonna kind of tell you how I could relate to it, and then that way, maybe it'll help you. Chances are maybe you've experienced something like in the way that I have, right? So the snake, usually it'll appear. One of the things that would appear more so often than the snake was the snake skin, right? So the snake skin would usually be at a time when I had just completed a cycle, whether it was relationship, a job, a time of mourning, a time of feeling broken, even where there was some kind of healing that had to take place, and shedding the old skin and being born anew. Yeah, I mean, even once I remember finding the snake skin hanging outside of the hole where you could tell that the snake, the newborn, like the new snake went into the hole. And even though I had shedded that old snake skin, it was still a time of reflection to go within to understand what was the reason for shedding that old skin and going into this new transformation, to really understand it more so you don't make the same mistakes, because what's the point of transitioning if then you just keep going backwards, right? So the snake, it also means it definitely means a lot of intuitive, being connected to that psychic kind of spiritual realm, right? Whenever I've seen the snake, it also came at a time when I'll start having a lot of prophetic dreams. um, I'll make videos about that after too, so if you're listening to this and maybe you don't know about that world either, then I'll make videos to clarify about all that, about having prophetic dreams and being very, not just in dreams but even in a waking state, right? To have that being able to see things, um, and just even that, right? They're very close to the ground, very connected to the earth, and that's all about like the vibrations and feeling. So it's at a time where the vibrations are really high. You might be running into a snake. On the flip side, it's also been a warning, right? The rattlesnake, usually I get very good, not usually, pretty much every time. It's very good energy, very good vibes. Um, there was a time when I came across a rattlesnake and it didn't completely coil up. It just threw up its rattle, and it kind of was about to start coiling up, and it just warned of its boundaries, right? So it's a time where you might need to set boundaries towards people, or maybe you're being, there's always going to be both aspects, or maybe you're pushing people too much. You got to give people space as well. Maybe you want to teach something and it's not sinking in, then you got to, just relax. It's not your walk to have to convince people. You put the information out, and if they receive it, they receive it, and if they don't, then you just keep keep continuing on your path, right? But more so, like, I've seen it where it's kind of that warning for me to put that, because I've found snake rattles where it felt like something was protecting me, and even that as a reminder to carry the rattle to remind me that I'm being protected, right? The healing is a big thing, reminding you. Sometimes I'll see it before I need to go into a healing, which means, hey, you sometimes you don't even realize it, that you're about to take some time off, because it's like the universe demands it, or your body is about to tell you, hey, you know you need to take a break. And so that'll be a time when I run into the snake as well. In case you don't know, like Mexica, also like what you might call Aztecs, the dancers, if you look at them, what they wear on their legs, that's supposed to signify, when they're dancing, that's supposed to signify the snake rattle, right? Being close to the earth. So connecting from the earth to the feathers that go up into the heavens, right? Up into the sky, the spirit world. So it's that connection. That's how important the snakes, some cultures might, I know that the snake was vilified in certain, religions and things like, and that's pretty sad because it gave it that idea that the snake, it was the snake's fault, right? Well, all of humanity fell because of the snake, instead of having accountability, right? But not to say that there has been times where the snake, and it wasn't a rattlesnake, it was just, I was walking in maybe this tall grass, and it's happened a lot of times where something will slither all of a sudden. It's like a dark snake, and sure enough, later on that day, someone will communicate with me from the past that was something that was all bad, right? So then I'll remember the snake, and it was like a warning that something was coming, right? Or something will try to mess with you later on in the day. You might be having the best day, and then all of a sudden something will cut you off, and someone's trying to start a fight, or weird things like that just come out of nowhere. And it was like the snake, that snake in the grass kind of, excuse me, that snake in the grass kind of situation was trying to warn you. So the snake will come. It's all about it's all about timing. So this is something that I haven't really heard anybody else talk about with the spirit animals. Maybe they have, but it's definitely about the timing. What you were thinking at that moment, what you were dealing with, and then if you remember, you'll fit it together like a puzzle, right? Then you'll say, wow, okay, wow, that's amazing. I was going through healing, or I had just finished this job, and I was having doubts, but, and then you'll see the snake skin, and you'll understand that it was a transformation. Like, this whole life is about, transformations, right? And maybe you're afraid, and that snake is showing, just like the snake sheds its skin to keep growing and growing. It's showing you to not be afraid. It's a natural part of life. I made the video about the tarantula, and I forgot to even mention that. I put it in the notes, but I'm not sure how many people read the description. But the tarantula is able to regrow its limbs, even internal organs, which, if you think about spiritually, not every animal could do that. And it's kind of a sign to show you that even when you think something might feel like that's it, maybe you can regrow it, right? You can, maybe that, right? Like, you have to start a new career, and you feel like, wow, I'm already getting older, or I wasted all this time. Nothing is really a waste of time in life if you learn from it. There really is no wasting time in this life. It's all about, being able to grow from what you learned. And so that's kind of the same with the tarantula, the snake. It has that. I heard someone mention in one of the videos, this lady that has a whole channel about spirit animals, and she mentioned how even when the snake is shedding its skin, there's this brief moment where that shedding is over its eyes, so everything's blurry and it can't see. And that made perfect sense, because that's how it is. A lot of times when you're going through these transformations, you don't see what's right around the corner. It's sometimes the universe will push you to that point, as you're going through this transformation. And it was one time where I almost went backwards, and I had made some huge transformations in life, where your whole life goes in a different direction. And then right when I was about to give up, luckily I had signs. Sometimes signs will come from people, but I'll try not to stray, because this one's about the snake, right? So the snake, has to do with psychic, with regeneration, being close to the ground, like someone said too, like being humble, but not in a I'm weak kind of way, more in the as in just being humble, like being low to the earth, right? Being connected to the earth. But as you can see, the snake slithers on the ground and this and that. But I think there's even native stories about how the snake gave its legs so it could be closer to the earth. There's some beautiful stories. You just have to look them up. But like I said, the rattlesnake has always been a good, we call it good medicine, right? In native cultures, indigenous cultures. It's like, when I see a snake, to me, I think of it as good medicine. There's a message with it, whether it's healing. I think it's called the caduceus. I think the caduceus is that staff with the two snakes intertwined. And if you see that, that's about healing. Even in the Bible, right? There was this story where Moses and I think people were getting bit by snakes, and he's told to put this staff with the snake or snakes on it, and for people to stare at it, and they will be healed, right? So even from those times, the snake has been associated with healing. And then, in Greek mythology, you can see the two snakes intertwined, which someone even mentioned looks like the DNA strands, right? Like the same way, right? There's another word for it, but the DNA, like that's kind of how it looks. So it's pretty interesting, and that's the snake, right? So I'm trying to think if I left anything out. I kind of just mentioned my experiences with it. It's always came in that either it was a warning of some, so it does sometimes have that aspect of, because I'll see the snake, right, and I've mentioned numbers before, and it's like, because 666 either means balance, and if you see the 6 almost kind of sometimes looks like a snake, right, the way it coils at the bottom and then it's up, right? So the 666, sometimes I'll see that, right, where I'll see the snake slithering or something, and it'll startle me, right? So it's about the way you feel also when you see it. So I'll be startled by it, and I'll be like, whoa, it's creeping about. It's like I couldn't see it, but it was there. And I'll be driving, there's a car with 666, or I'll see something, a video, and it's 666, and something's warning me, and sure enough, someone will contact me from my past, and then I have to make that decision to not engage, not associate with these people, because they're already someone from the past that is not bringing positive energy. And when I haven't listened, it's gone. I've had a lesson to learn from it, where I should have known better. So there are warnings in that way sometimes, but see, even that, it's a warning. It's really not negative. It's really not negative. I can't say I've dreamed about snakes that, I've doubt where other people have dreamed about snakes and there was a negative thing to it in the spirit world. But, I ain't going to go into that. I'll make another set of videos about dream, I'll call it dream time or whatever. But this one I'll just make about that. So the snake, I'm hoping I didn't leave anything out, but if anything, I'll make a part 2, right? So for now, I'll just leave it at that. I really can't think at the moment what else aside from that, right? Like, it's about taking time to heal, staying grounded, being connected to the earth, even, right? Being grounded, being connected to the earth, the vibrations. I think, for now. And I mean, being also ready, it's okay to place your boundaries, right? To place your boundaries and let people know not to cross them. It's okay to do that. And to respect yourself, right? To respect yourself the way that the snake does. A snake never wants to do you harm. It has better things to do, right? A snake has better things to do than to be trying to hurt you. What happens is when you're walking in its house and you step on it or you step too close to it, then it reacts, right? So it doesn't go out and about trying to hurt you on purpose. It's more when you cross its boundaries. So it's okay for us to, sometimes it's a reminder that it's okay for us to place those boundaries and to act accordingly when someone crosses those boundaries, right? So okay, I'll end it there, and hopefully that gave you some kind of understanding. You could always comment and ask me questions, and I'll do my best to reply. Okay.
Just take a look around, cause everywhere people looking lost, but no one cares. I see if I can find a little help from God. It's every man for themselves, guess times are hard. I wonder if we're all just too blind to see that the problem's in humanity. But all will be fixed if we work as one. But I guess I'll just sit and soak the sun.
I see the evil in the lies that they feed my people. I wouldn't stop to cry cause it's just too simple. I'd rather start the war that sets them free, and maybe one day we could all live happily. Yes, happily in prosperity, like chapter 3, Ecclesiastes book. If a crook could find his soul's redemption, then maybe there's hope for all of those that listen. Cause they control the skies and food we eat. Feed garbage on TV that consumes us sleep and keeps us weak. Hang on freight ends of sanity, losing our humanity day by day. Only God's people will feel what I say, and the rest will just sit there like dead weight. I cannot wait, cause I forgot pushing, so I muster up my thoughts and let the Lord use me.
Just take a look around, cause everywhere people looking lost, but no one cares. I see if I can find a little help from God. It's every man for themselves, guess times are hard. I wonder if we're all just too blind to see that the problems in humanity could all really be fixed if we worked as one. But I guess I'll just sit and soak the sun.
I put my pen to the paper and push the truth. Hey, what's going on with the young brown youth? Don't ever get this twisted, I do it for you. I wouldn't be here if I wasn't in, that's the proof. I shoot the breeze at ease with some real OGs that know we got a problem out here on the streets. And the police, the least of it. Everybody wanna thug, bust slugs, but nobody talks about the aftermath, the relapse and the pain that is caused from violence. Neighborhoods may seem calm, but it's far from silent. Murderers hiding, creeping in the dark. No one saw them till the flash from the click gun sport. Plenty broken hearts and family in pain, locked in vain, fell slain due to gangbang. Man, I pray you change. They tell me that it won't, but I keep faith and hope and spread these songs like reminder notes.
Just take a look around, cause everywhere people looking lost, but no one cares. I see if I can find a little help from God. It's every man for themselves, guess times are hard. I wonder if we're all just too blind to see that the problems in humanity could all really be fixed if we worked as one. But I guess I'll just sit and soak the sun.
If I could share some words of wisdom, hey, it would be this. Look, knowledge is power, but it's also a trick, cause they use it in the wrong way to keep us down. Like if we ever got smart, we would run this town. Cause who needs corporate jets when people are stored? They control the whole world and it seems retarded, cause they make 2% of us. Now we must be hella done, worried about the rims or the system in my cool truck. Now what the hell, just ask Bell about corruption. Politicians rob the blind, left them with nothing, and that's nothing, cause it gets worse around the world. Pedophiles and priests abusing little boys and girls around the world, and it could all be fixed, but we're too damn lazy, so we make up excuses. Feel like it's useless, but I refuse to quit, so I get strength from God and just turn to Ephesians.
Just take a look around, cause everywhere people looking lost, but no one cares. I see if I can find a little help from God. It's every man for themselves, guess times are hard.